From Mennen Arena in Morris Township, Scholastic Sports Sunday. Hi everybody, I'm Steve Tober along with Pete Caggiano. Tonight, the 1991 NJSIA State Hockey Final. St. Joseph of Montvale at 23-3-1 against Delbarton's Green Wave at 19-6-2. And Pete Caggiano, Delbarton has worked awfully hard to get here. They came in as the 6th seed in the tournament.
Delbarton all year the underdog, never ranked higher than 7th by the Star Ledger poll this year. The 6th seed, they're back into the state tournament again.
And St. Joseph with a star forward by the name of Bob Guth, recruited possibly maybe in the NHL draft by the Rangers or the Devils. A guy that Delbarton obviously is going to have to try to stop here tonight.
Bob Guth the other night with his 50 and 51st goals of the season. Excellent player, big, strong forward. He's a senior for St. Joe's. The other senior to watch on St. Joe's is Dave Lahansky, the goaltender. A little bit underrated. Big fella, can make the big save again.
Of course, Delbarton, a fairly young team. Trey Whipple, one of their top wings. Jason Waite in goal, possibly an all-state candidate.
Absolutely. Jason Waite, an outstanding athlete. Just this past week, named the Star Ledger Boy Athlete of the Week. You're talking about Trey Whipple, one of the only seniors on the club. Plays right wing on that first line. Very inspirational player.
We'll be back to talk about the lineups a little bit further and get ready for the face-off for tonight's state final in just one moment.
Doing your taxes, eh? Quite a stack of deductions you've got there. Did you know for 1990 you can only deduct 10% of your consumer interest? Like interest on consumer loans and credit cards. Next year, the deduction will disappear completely, but some forms of interest will remain deductible, like interest on home equity loans.
A message from the New Jersey Society of CPAs.
No problem.
We're back at Mennen Arena in Morris Township. Steve Tober along with Pete Caggiano. And Pete, 1989, these two teams were scheduled to meet in the final. However, a measles epidemic broke out at Delbarton. The game was never played. It's almost sort of a double championship possibly, Pete.
Well, both teams are really looking forward to tonight's game. There are a few players from each side that were on the 89 club, but make no mistake, this is the 91 club for both these two teams, and they are prepared for tonight's game.
Fourth-year coach Jim Brady of Delbarton had his own thoughts about the double championship.
No, that was an 89 group, and this is a 91 group. This group has its own identity entirely. It's a young team. They're having a lot of fun. I think we're a big underdog going into the final, and they're going to have a lot of fun doing it. We really got nothing to lose. You know, we're way beyond what we thought we were going to be at this point in the year, and I think everybody, including the coaching staff, is having a lot of fun right now.
You know, Pete, along with the fine goalie Jason Waite, Delbarton has a good corps of defensemen. Jim Bruce, along with the Pete Nelson, Kevin Mahoney among them. They're going to have to stop Bob Guth tonight.
Well, you mentioned two excellent fellas, both Jim Bruce and Kevin Mahoney, outstanding players. The other thing about both these guys, they're both juniors, so they'll be back again next year.
And Jim Bruce, the fine defenseman for Delbarton, spoke about trying to stop St. Joe's Bob Guth.
St. Joe's, they're a lot more wide open, a lot more speed, and we'll just have to try to clog in front of the net and try to slow the game down and not let their forwards take control of the game, basically.
Of course, up front for Delbarton, Trey Whipple, veteran senior, a hard hitter, great checker, works with a couple of sophomores, Max Von Zubin and Tucker Kroll on the first line for the Green Wave, and Trey Whipple is going to certainly bang heads a lot with Bob Guth tonight, Pete.
Trey Whipple, one of the few seniors on the front line. This year he had a decent season, 15 goals, 6 assists, 21 points. One of the better players for Delbarton.
And Whipple, a very personable, well-spoken young man, talked to us the other night about stopping Guth and company from St. Joe's.
I mean, you know, St. Joe's, Bobby Guth, he's one of the best players in the state. He's real fast. You know, if we can contain him, shut Guth down, you know, that'll probably be our main key to success. All these other teams, you know, they usually have one good solid line. But on St. Joe's, you know, Bobby Guth stands out. And if we shut him down, we'll probably win the game. You know, good hard forecheck, and that'll do it.
Both teams being introduced here before the game here tonight. And Pete Caggiano, both teams fairly young. There are experienced players such as Bruce and Whipple and Mahoney and for Delbarton and Guth Omida and Deucebout for St. Joe's, but a lot of young kids out there as well.
Absolutely, Steve. If you take a look at the front lines, take a look at St. Joe's top line. Rob Guth's a senior, but you're looking at junior Peter Hurry, sophomore Pat Moran. You check over to the Delbarton side, and yes, Trey Whipple, the right wing, is a senior, but Max Van Zubin, just a sophomore. Tucker Kroll, just a sophomore. The fellow who plays on the power play and centers their second line, John Sullivan, just a sophomore. They have some good guys coming up.
The stage has been set for tonight's NJSAA State Final. Delbarton and St. Joe's. And now we'll be back in just one moment. For the 1991 NJSAA State Final, the Green Wave of Delbarton and the Green Knights of St. Joseph's of Montvale. Hi everybody, Steve Tober, Pete Caggiano, getting set for the face-off here. Tonight's referees John DiCarlo and Jim Flaherty. And Pete, a game that's going to be a lot of pressure here possibly on the referees.
Well, you have two veteran officials out there. John DiCarlo has worked already 1 or 2 state championship games. Jimmy Flaherty, an ECAC official. Two fellows that are highly qualified to do this game.
St. Joe's under first-year coach Gene Katz, a former star for the Green Knights back in 1983-84. In fact, he skated with a fellow by the name of Max Middendorf, who went on to the NHL.
Yes, Max played for a while with the Quebec Nordiques. He's been back and forth between the major leagues and the farm system. Max was an outstanding player. Unfortunately, Max had to leave high school after his junior year to go play Junior A in Canada. It's not until just recently that the New Jersey hockey scene is getting the recognition where you can move right from the high school level to either the Division I or Division II college level or right to the minor leagues.
Another young coach, 32-year-old Jim Brady for Delbarton in his 4th season. And the Green Wave tonight will be dressed in their green jerseys with white numbers, and St. Joe's in the white trimmed with gold and green. Dave Lahansky, the junior, in goal for the Green Knights, and of course Jason Waite, the senior for Delbarton, as we get set for the opening face-off of the state final. Max Van Zubin, the sophomore, number 17, will face off for Delbarton against Pete Hurry of St. Joseph. As we're set to go here in the state final. Trey Whipple sends it in to the St. Joe's zone. Easy save there by Lahansky. Puts it behind the St. Joe's net. Jim Bruce on the far boards, sends it down to the corner, and St. Joe's circles behind its own net, ready to come out. Across the Delbarton line, but though controlled by Jim Bruce. And he'll retrace here. The tempo early on, Pete, we'll have to see if Delbarton can check as strong as they did the other night against Montclair in the state semis.
That's one key, and the other key, of course, is what they do with Bob Guth. They're going to shadow him, and of course, it's St. Joe's job to get him the puck. Any chance they get, St. Joe's will be looking for Rob Guth to get him the puck. With 51 goals, he's the guy you want to score.
Kevin Mahoney banged off across the far boards by Ryan McKenna of St. Joe's. And St. Joe's keeps it in the Delbarton end. Bruce trying to come out. St. Joe's putting a lot of good pressure up front. Forechecking effectively there for the moment. And the Green Wave tries to get back into the St. Joe's zone.
Steve, there's a few guys on this second line I want you to watch for St. Joe's. That young fellow, number 7, Mark Umida, he's a senior. And the other fellow is the left wing, 23, Scott Sofel. Two excellent players for St. Joe's.
Umida there battling behind the Delbarton net. Managed to stick it free there. Was Nelson, and here comes a green wave across the Delbarton line. Sullivan banging away in the corner with Billy Sands trying to tie up that puck. But St. Joe's able to get it free. Back to Nelson. And St. Joe's clears down ice. Should have an icing call here.
Nope, they wave it off, Steve.
Waved it off. Delbarton tries to regroup. Centering pass intercepted by Dewsbat back in the Delbarton zone. And early on, Pete, St. Joe's able to move the puck in the Delbarton zone with pretty good regularity.
St. Joe's taking control of the game so far. We're about 2.5 minutes into the game, and I don't think Delbarton has a shot on goal yet.
Trey Whipple unable to control. St. Joe sends it back in. Whistle.
Delbarton iced the puck. A little bit of pressure by St. Joe's.
The Green Wave, obviously, Pete, early on, feeling a little bit of pressure. And St. Joe's, a quicker team skating-wise. Delbarton obviously going to have to rely on that checking game.
Well, Delbarton can do that. They are a big team. They're a physical team. The other thing Delbarton should feel very comfortable about is this is their home rink. Yes, they've played a lot of playoff games here, but this is where they played their entire regular season. So if anybody should be familiar with the surroundings, it should be them.
Pat Moran off the face-off. In front, shot. Pretty good attempt there by Hurry, but Waite able to slip it aside. Now they come in close. Knocked away. Tucker Kroll trying to get it across out of his own zone. But St. Joe's able to retract and get the puck back up in across the blue line. Here comes Sullivan trying to regroup, and Jim Bruce takes over for the Green Wave. We're early on, 11:55 to go, first period. No score, 1991 state final here at Mennen Arena. St. Joe's and Delbarton. And here comes the Green Knights. Across the Delbarton line, Guth in close, shot. Stopped by Waite. Nice save there by Jason Waite.
Jason did not know where the puck was. Rob Guth came over the line, made a beautiful move, took the quick shot. Jason Waite squeezed the pass together. He held on, but the puck just trickled free, and luckily nobody for St. Joe's was there to tap it home.
Pete Nelson trying to get behind his own net. Delbarton under a lot of pressure here in the first period. Up to Whipple, and Whipple, puck intercepted. Billy Sands keeping it in, and he cuts a shot in front. Again, knocked aside by Waite.
Very good forechecking here by St. Joe's in the opening period, keeping Delbarton pinned in their own end very well.
Mahoney sends it up to Sullivan along the far boards.
And notice how well St. Joe's takes the body, especially in the corner, not allowing the Delbarton player to come out into the middle.
Delbarton trying to keep it out of their own zone, but St. Joe's keeps sending it across. And there we have the icing call. Early on, first period, 10:35 to go, no score. Pete?
That time, Mark Yamita just a stride before the blue line dumped it, and he got caught for the icing. They take a look at number 5, Kevin Mahoney, the junior. 6 goals, 23 assists so far this year. Scored a big goal the other night against Seton Hall. Excuse me, against Montclair, and their victory against Montclair, the 3-1 game.
Face off to the left of Dave Lahansky, the St. Joseph goal. Durney battling in the corner there for Delbarton. And with Chris Burry, senior wing, who's in for the Green Wave. The Wave effectively keeping the puck in the St. Joe zone for one of the more extended periods here in the early going. Good hit there on the boards by Sullivan. Bruce able to keep it in for the moment, but here comes the Green Knights again. Soft shot easily stopped there by Jason Waite. And Jim Bruce centering there. Puck sails past his teammates, and we're going to have a regrouping here. The line change for the Green Wave. Guth, nobody to pass it to. Taken over again by Delbarton. Scholastic Sports Sunday, brought to you by Venturini's. Come see the whole family at 800 Main Street in Boonton. They have our toll-free fax phone to order sandwiches at 1-800-696-1642. They just don't make sandwiches, they build them. Venturini's in Boonton. Centering pass and stopped by Waite.
Great save by Jason Waite.
Best opportunity there, Pete, so far by the Green Knights.
Absolutely. Ryan McKenna, the junior, had a shot directly in front. And a great save by Jason, but now we're going to get a penalty coming up here. And it looks to be against St. Joe's. It's going to be a tripping call on number 7, the senior Mark Umida.
Umida, one of those veterans off that 88-89 team, which did not go to the state finals because of the measles breakout at Delbarton. Umida, one of the veteran seniors, only 4 seniors on St. Joseph's.
And you speak about the young fellow, Mark Umida. Steve had a chance to see this fellow over the past couple of years. What a nice kid he is, too. Soft-spoken, easygoing, a real assertive hockey player, but the type of player you'd like to have on your team. Absolutely.
Scholastic Sports Sunday also brought to you by C&L Sports in Hanover. They have a March sale, 25% off all helmets, hockey bags, gloves, NHL equipment and souvenirs, Monday through Saturday, 10 to 6. Visit Rich and Bill over on Ridgedale Avenue in Hanover. That's C&L Sports. It's one of our supporters here on Scholastic Sports Sunday. The 1991 NJSAA State Hockey Final, St. Joseph in Delbarton. So far, that's Delbarton's best chance there as Jim Bruce sends it from the left point. Pete, and
it's Dave Lahansky, the goaltender for St. Joe's, coming up with an excellent save. We talked about it earlier. He does not get as much recognition as Jason Waite, but when needed to, Dave Lahansky can make that big save.
Of course, against Montclair the other night, Pete, Delbarton had several power play opportunities. And how do you assess their power play in the couple of games you've seen them?
Delbarton does one thing very strong on their power play. They move John Sullivan, the second-line center, up to left wing on the first line with Max Von Zuben and Trey Whipple, and combine the defense of Jim Bruce and Kevin Mahoney to anchor that back line, and that's just as potent power play as you're going to find anywhere in the high school league.
Delbarton on the rush across the St. Joseph line. Sullivan just wide. Jim Bruce taking it to the far boards, try to set up over to Nelson. Nelson from the right point. The slapper. Lahansky screen at the goal. A score for the Green Wave.
That was Kevin Mahoney from the right side letting the blast go from the point. I'm not sure if it was tipped in or it was put in on a rebound. There was a little bit of a delay. Then the red light came on.
We're going to see this again. Mahoney, and it looked like it might have been Von Zuben on the tip.
Well, you can tell by who they're hugging. There's the shot. Tipped once, and it could be Trey Whipple. He was standing right in front. We'll have to wait for the official call from the scorer.
Delbarton going on top, 1-0.
You're right, they gave it to Max Von Zuben.
Von Zuben from Mahoney.
Assists go to
6:37 into the first period.
Assists going to Jim Bruce and Kevin Mahoney, but outstanding play by Delbarton, working the puck real well and making full advantage of their power play.
With that 6:43 into the first, 1-0 Delbarton. Max Von Zuben, the sophomore center, skates in the line with Trey Whipple and Tucker Kroll. Scholastic Sports Sunday off to a good start for the locals of Delbarton. Again, one of our supporters, Do It Yourself, which supplied our scaffolding tonight. 887-2251. That's 887-2251 for Do It Yourself tools, contractors, equipment, garden tools, pumps and generators, etc. on Route 10 in East Hanover. Do It Yourself. Thanking them tonight for helping us here on Scholastic Sports Sunday on Sammons. St. Joe's, strong shot, knocked away by Chris Burry.
That time Pat Moran came down on the right side. Excellent save by Jason Waite.
St. Joe's putting the pressure on. Waite covers up.
And there you see Bob Guth just a little bit frustrated as he has been checked all night. In fact, his first line shift in the beginning of the game, he was hammered by a ferocious check. And he's paying the price. When you're that good, you attract that kind of attention. People will notice you, and they're going to stay with you stride for stride.
You're going to see the pressure that St. Joe's has been putting on here.
There you see the hit right after the whistle as Rob Guth took a run at Peter Nelson, the senior.
Face off to the left of Jason Waite.
And they're taking Trey Whipple out of the face-off circle. He'll be replaced by Tucker Kroll.
players, Bruce and the St. Joe's forward, getting their sticks tangled up as the Green Wave tries to gather their own zone across the red line into the St. Joe's zone. Von Zubin trying to keep it in. But intercepted by Deuceabout. Pass up ice to McKenna. Sends it in on goal. Pushed aside by Wade. Centering pass. McKenna trying to get a stick down, but Von Zubin doing a nice job of keeping Scott Soffel, the left wing for St. Joe's, off the puck.
We're going to have another penalty coming up here. This one looks to be against Delbarton. I believe it's going to be Trey Whipple, the senior.
Trey, who was in the penalty box late in the game against Montclair, one of the more physical players for the Delbarton Green Wave.
And just walking back there behind on your camera was Larry McCarthy. There's Bob Vitor, two members of the NIHOA here in North Jersey.
Trey Whipple, one of the team leaders for Delbarton, no doubt about that. We'll see St. Joe's on their first power play opportunity.
St. Joe's goes with their top line of Rob Guth, Peter Hurry, Pat Moran.
And here's Hurry, sent it in. Moran trying to get it, and it's taken by Guth. He'll try to circle in front of Waite. Little backhander, and Delbarton able to cover up. Waite, good work there by the defenseman, by the Green Wave, to keep Guth away from the little backhand.
Absolutely. That time Jason Waite tried to come out from behind the net, and he was stopped by the defense of Delbarton. And it appeared that the puck was held by Jason Waite, and then right after the whistle, it was poked free.
So a quick shot there of Jason Waite, the senior goalie. Star Ledger Player of the Week, as we mentioned on the pregame show. The senior headed to Middlebury, Vermont next year to play hockey. Face-off controlled by the Green Knights of St. Joe's, but sent out of the Delbarton zone and circling back. Deuceabout. So far, the Green Wave doing a pretty good job of killing this penalty off. 6:15 to go, first period. 1-0 Delbarton. Steve Tober, Pete Caggiano, Scholastic Sports, Sunday on Sammons Cable.
What they're doing, Steve, is they're keeping St. Joe's to the perimeter. Every time St. Joe's gains the zone, they're not allowed to get in the zone, which is that area right in front of the net, that 15 to 20 feet area where most of the goals are scored. Delbarton's doing a good job of keeping St. Joe's to the outside. Veteran defenseman Kevin Mahoney and Pete Nelson doing a good job on defense here in the shorthanded situation for the Green Wave. As St. Joe's continues to keep the puck, and a shot on goal from the left wing, from the left is Keith Bland, the sophomore, wide, and the Green Knights, though, setting up once again. 39 seconds left in the penalty. Another shot knocked away. Bland looking back to the left point to Deuceabout. Again, Delbarton keeping St. Joe's on the perimeter, not allowing them to penetrate into the center.
Down to 15 seconds on the penalty. Sullivan tries to get it out. Centering pass for Guth. Guth will line it up here and fire. And again, knocked away in front. Screened out was Waite, but luckily the puck sailed by him. 2 seconds, 1 second left in the penalty. Fanning on the shot was Deuceabout, and the penalty is killed by the Green Wave. Von Zubin sends it in.
Crowd complaining they thought there should have been a penalty against St. Joe's for dumping a Delbarton player, but no call. He allows play to go on.
4:35 to go, first period. A fast-moving first period of action. 1-0 Delbarton. Jim Bruce behind his own net. Sends it back to defensive mate Chris Loudon. And St. Joe's able to keep it in the Delbarton zone pretty consistently here, Pete, in the first period.
They've definitely had the territorial play, but the only thing that counts is what's up on the scoreboard, and that's where Delbarton leads by 1.
Scholastic Sports Sunday, one of our other supporters, Robin's Sandwich Shop of Dover. Diagonally across from the train station in Dover, daily sandwich and soup specials. And you mention this ad that you hear on Scholastic Sports Sunday, and you'll get 10% off all orders. New hours, Monday through Friday, 8 to 8, and Saturday, 8 to 6, Sunday, 8 to 4. That's Robin's Sandwich Shop on 57 East Blackwell Street in Dover. 3:43 to go, first period, and Delbarton hangs on to that 1-0 lead. despite the territorial advantage Pete Caggiano spoke of a moment ago for St. Joseph's. Here comes the Green Knights again. Pat Moran knocked around in a corner there by Kevin Mahoney. Jim Bruce able to get the puck, sends it back behind his own net to Kevin Mahoney. Mahoney sends it up ice across the red line into the St. Joseph zone. Shot just short of on the near side. Nice shot on goal by Greg Pendy, the junior.
That looked a lot more dangerous than it was because it deflected off Keith Bland, the defenseman.
Moran sends it in behind the Delbarton net. Green Wave trying to get it out, and here comes Whipple behind the St. Joe's net, and Trey Whipple takes it on the far board, sends it back behind Lahansky, the St. Joseph goalie. 2:45 to go first period, 1-0 Delbarton. Bobby Guth, one-on-one. Mahoney, the only man back, along with Wade. Little backhander, wide.
Two excellent plays.
Pretty good job by Mahoney there.
Absolutely. Mahoney forced Guth to go wide to his backhand. Guth did get a good shot off, but an excellent save by Jason Waite. He held his position, stood up strong, and made the great save.
Chris Burry trying to get out for the Green Wave, but taken back by St. Joseph's. Dewspout circling. Kenny Dewspout, senior defenseman for St. Joe's, and here comes another tough shot on goal. Great save by Waite. Scott Soffel, the sophomore right wing, coming in and blasting one at Waite.
Stoffel came in. He was about 20 feet out on the right-hand side, right by the top of the circle. Let a good hard slap shot go, but again, Jason Waite, the senior, up to the task.
Really, St. Joe obviously with more quality shots, but Delbarton, here's Sullivan knocked away by Lahansky.
I think the last 5 minutes have evened out the play here. In the beginning, it was all St. Joe's, but now the last 5-6 minutes, Delbarton has come into their own game, and territorial-wise and time-wise, the possession has been about equal.
Jim Bruce sends it back into the St. Joe's zone. Centering pass knocked away. Bruce bottled up there just for a moment at mid-ice, and Guth back on for the Green Knights, sends it in behind the Delbarton cage. Just under a minute to go, first period, 1-0 Delbarton. Steve Tober, Pete Caggiano, SCA TV, Scholastic Sports Sunday here on Sammons Cable. Glad you could be with us. The 1991 state final, Delbarton St. Joe's, and it's been a good one so far. Offsides against the Green Knights. We also want to thank Sportsfolio Magazine, the only high school sports magazine that covers the entire state, the best New Jersey high school sports, with a selection of all state, all section teams, preseason top 10s, players to watch. Been mentioned in Sports Illustrated, MSG Sports Week, Channel 13, and other cable stations, of course, including Sammons. To subscribe to Sportsfolio, you can send a letter to 48 Bentley Road in Cedar Grove. That's B-E-N-T-L-Y Road in Cedar Grove, 07009, or call Sat Sephora, the publisher, at 239-4870. That's 239-4870 to subscribe to Sportsfolio. $9 for 4 issues for the quarterly publication, or $16 for 2 years. Sportsfolio Magazine. 30 seconds to go, first period. St. Joe's, oh, shot screen almost went in. Wade out in front of the net there, and pretty good opportunity again for the Green Knights.
That time Rob Guth, he knew his stick was tied up, but made no attempt or advancement to get his skates out of the way. As the puck deflected off his skate, it just went wide of Jason Waite.
St. Joe's regroups. Here comes Guth across the Delbarton line. Looking to pass, takes it himself. Very soft shot, nothing on that one. As the period ends.
Pretty much what we expected here, Steve. Up and down, good skating, good forechecking, a lot of strong hitting, and we're close. 1-goal lead by Delbarton.
Delbarton Green Wave leads St. Joseph's Green Knights 1-0. Steve Tober, Pete Caggiano. We'll be back in a moment.
Many children today live in single-parent families. Less than half of them get the child support they are due. In fact, single parents in this state are owed more than $2 billion in back child support payments. Help is available. To get the child support you're due, or to establish paternity or locate a non-custodial parent, call New Jersey's Child Support Program, toll-free, at 1-800-257-6249.
We're back at Mennen Arena in Morris Township, getting ready for the second period. Delbarton leading St. Joseph 1-0. Steve Tober, Pete Caggiano. And Pete, the only goal of the game at 6:43, a power play for the Green Wave. Max von Zuben from Trey Whipple and Kevin Mahoney.
The play starts with the shot from the point. We'll see how it's worked back to the point. There's the slap shot, deflected once, and then right there, number 17, Max von Zuben, tucks home the goal, with Dave Lahansky making the original save on the shot and deflection by Trey Whipple. Max von Zuben had an easy tuck away, and that gave Delbarton the 1-0 lead as we enter the second period.
And only 2 penalties in the first period. Mark Uvita went off for a tripping when Delbarton scored their goal. Uvita with a tripping at 5:43, and then Trey Whipple with an interference call at 8:06. Pretty well played first period, although St. Joe's had a clear advantage in shots, Pete, 14-5.
That came from the beginning of the first period. As we mentioned, the first 8 or 9 minutes, it was all St. Joe's as they put a lot of pressure on Jason Waite and the Delbarton defense. But as the period wore on, Delbarton evened the territorial play and, of course, scored the only goal of the first period.
Scholastic Sports Sunday here on Sammons TV3, brought to you by Venturini's. Come see the whole family at 800 Main Street in Boonton, and toll-free fax number to order your sandwiches at 1-800-696-1642 or call 335-1642. Homemade salads and hot sandwiches. They just don't make sandwiches, they build them at Venturini's, 800 Main Street in Boonton, one of our supporters on Scholastic Sports Sunday. C&L Sports on Ridgedale Avenue in Hanover. Rich, Bill, and Al, and they have that March sale, 25% off all helmets, hockey bags and gloves during the entire month of March. All the Cooper Bauer, Easton Grouse, all the top-of-the-line hockey equipment from C&L Sports, 887-6110. Another supporter here on our Scholastic Sports Sunday, the 1991 state final. We're facing off second period action. Bobby Guth for St. Joe's. On the far side, sends it into the Delbarton end. And Pete, what do you look for here in the second period after the territorial advantage at some points for St. Joe's?
Well, I don't see much of a difference this period from last period. I think both teams will come out and play the same type of game. Of course, Delbarton likes to play the physical game. St. Joe's will put a lot of pressure on. Their forecheck is excellent. And of course, with Rob Guth, he's a threat at any time.
Delbarton tries to keep it in his offsides as Von Zuben could not keep the puck. We're going across the blue line. 14:26, just underway, second period. Delbarton St. Joseph, 1991 state hockey final from Mennen Arena in Morris Township. Steve Tober, Pete Caggiano. Hope you're enjoying Scholastic Sports Sunday.
Steve, only half a minute. Just want to thank the gentleman who just sat down in front of us, Reynolds Coffee, and his staff here at the Mennen Arena for all their fine help this evening.
Off the face-off, sent in, Delbarton in.
And I believe St. Joe's is guilty of an icing infraction, so the face-off will be brought all the way back down in front of the senior, Dave Lahansky.
Had a couple icing calls here tonight. Not too many the other night in that semifinal game between Montclair and Delbarton. A pretty crisp hockey game, although the Mounties started off flat and Delbarton came on strong, and great checking in that game by the Green Wave.
There you take a look at the junior, Matt Durney, number 21. Matt, when hockey season is over, he will trade in his hockey stick for a lacrosse stick.
Matt Durney, the junior left wing. Face-off controlled by Kenny Dusbart behind his own net. for the Green Knights of St. Joseph's of Montvale. Centering pass intercepted by Kevin Mahoney, who had the assist on that first goal. Here comes Sullivan, driving in. Lahansky comes out, glove save.
Whoa.
Chris Burry there, Pete, almost with an opportunity there on the rebound, but couldn't get it by Dave Lahansky.
We had an excellent angle from up here as the save was made by Dave Lahansky, but he didn't know where the rebound was. Quite a few guys poking at it. There you take a look at the senior Chris Burry, who's headed to Notre Dame next year. He almost had a chance at that rebound, and then finally, with a whole slew of people falling on the puck, there's the whistle. You see it right there, just by the right arm of Dave Lahansky. He was lucky to hold on and preserve the game.
St. Joe's controls the faceoff. Billy Sands, the junior defenseman, the third defenseman for St. Joe's, sends it up ice. Hurry sends it back. Keith Bland. Delbarton able to keep it in.
Now Delbarton's guilty of an offsides infraction, as our two officials tonight, Jim Flaherty and John DiCarlo, doing an excellent game, calling just what they have to call. Most of the time, officials at this level and in this type of bounty on the game will use the strategy. If it doesn't prevent a goal or cause an injury, let it go, and that's exactly what they've done this evening.
Mahoney, easily put aside by Lahansky, the St. Joe goalie. Mahoney with a chance for the right point, way wide. And the rebound taken off by Pete Hurry of St. Joe's on the rush. 3-on-2 into the Delbarton zone. Hurry circles. And here comes the green wave once again. Icing call against Delbarton.
Both teams skating very well here in the second period, picking up where they left off after the first period.
Pete, how do you explain late in the season here with a couple of real close offsides by Delbarton there, just in a sequence of about 3 minutes? You would think at this point of the season you try to keep your lines pretty well in sync there. A couple of real close offsides there.
Steve, there's many reasons why a player would go offside. Sometimes he anticipates a pass and he puts himself offside. Sometimes he's pushed in by a defending player and he doesn't intentionally want to go into the zone, but he is helped in, to put that in quotes, over the blue line. And other times it's just a mental lapse and he gets caught inside, and that's why he's guilty of offsides.
Of course, the physical nature, both these teams are strong checking teams. And we've seen pretty clean hockey here tonight with just the 2 penalties. But both teams certainly capable of putting some body English on it.
Absolutely, but what you have is 2 well-disciplined teams, 2 well-coached teams. You're not going to see any of the dirty stuff tonight.
Von Zubin with a good opportunity. Sends a centering pass for Sullivan, just wide to the near side. Nice play there, nice combination. Von Zubin and Sullivan, the second line center on with his fellow sophomore there. Delbarton mixing up the lines a little bit here.
Well, whenever they want to put the scoring punch in, they move him up to the point.
Shot on goal, just wide by Guth. Guth hammered to the ground there, to the ice. And St. Joe's keeping it in. A little backhander attempt by Guth. He's knocked off the play by Loudon.
You see right there, Steve, they know that Rob Guth had that separated shoulder just 2 weeks ago, and any time Delbarton player gets a chance to take a shot at him, legally of course, they are taking a hit on him.
Waiting for a whistle here, but none coming. Delbarton gets the puck free, and Whipple sends it up along the far boards into the St. Joe zone, and the icing call. Scholastic Sports Sunday here on SCA TV3, also brought to you by Robin's Sandwich Shop of Dover, right across from the train station. Daily sandwich and soup specials. 19 years, a statewide reputation for great sandwiches. And mention the ad here on today's Scholastic Sports Sunday and get 10% off for all orders. Robin's is open Monday through Friday, 8 to 8, Saturday, 8 to 6, and Sunday, 8 to 4. Robin's Sandwich Shop of Dover, 57 East Blackwell Street, right across from the train station. Face off, and Waite covers up there. We have another face off, 11:45 to go, second period. Steve Tober, Pete Caggiano. 1991 state final here from Mennen Arena in Morris Township. And the Green Wave, despite being outshot in the first period 14-5, holds a 1-0 lead.
I think both teams should be pretty happy with their play. St. Joe's seems to be picking up the pace right now, putting a lot more pressure on Jason Waite.
Pete Hurry wins the face-off for St. Joseph. Mahoney trying to get it out of his own end. St. Joe's doing a good forechecking job, just like they'd done early on in the first period. All the way up ice. Sullivan, centering pass. Unable to get it down was Durney, and the Green Knights take over. We're going to have another. No, but maybe it's been a.
Referee Jimmy Flaherty waved off the icing. He felt that Kevin Mahoney could have reached the puck, so he lets play go on.
Green Knights keep it in the Delbarton zone. Guth trying to recover, but Sullivan, the fine sophomore centerman for Delbarton, sends it down ice. And there we'll have the icing. Pete, seems a little bit less frenetic a pace maybe than the first period. That both teams, they felt each other out. St. Joe's dominated very early on. Delbarton got right back in the thick of things. How would you describe play in the first 5 minutes so far in the second period?
Seems like the players might be a little tired. The intensity, the level, the pace that they set in the first period could not be continued for all 3 periods. Seems like they're taking a little lull now, much like a boxer will do in the middle rounds, and hopefully save it for the end.
Interesting analogy. Von Zubin and McKenna on the face-off. Delbarton trying to get out of their zone. St. Joe's putting good pressure on. They have another icing call. Delbarton, it seems, just happy to get it out of its own end at this point. Does not want to give Guth or even the second line from St. Joe's any opportunity for a clear shot on Jason Waite.
That surprises me, because I would expect Delbarton to play a more controlled game. But what they are doing sometimes, especially when the puck is in their zone for any length of time, they're just dumping it out. And when they ice the puck like that, the faceoff comes back deep in front of their own goaltender, and they do that enough times, it's going to come back to haunt them.
Von Zubin and McKenna blocked away by Delbarton. Keith Bland sends it back in for St. Joe's, but here comes the green wave. Intercepted by Bruce. Shot just wide. Jimmy Bruce. Scramble in front. Von Zubin could not get his stick down soon enough. Puck sands wide, and here comes St. Joe's.
Good penetration by Delbarton. Good pressure by Delbarton. The shots went just wide, but they almost got one right there.
Jason Waite leaves the puck for Jimmy Bruce. The junior defenseman had a goal the other night against Montclair in a 3-1 state semifinal victory for Delbarton. Offsides. Play settling down here a bit, second period. 1-0 Delbarton leading, 9:54 to go in the middle period. Sportsfolio magazine, a publication well-renowned the last 11 years for high school sports coverage, is one of our supporters here on Scholastic Sports Sunday, the best in New Jersey high school sports, with their selections of all state, all section teams. They have a spring issue coming out in April. To subscribe to Sportsfolio, call 239-4870. That's 239-4870 to subscribe to Sportsfolio magazine, the magazine of high school sports in New Jersey. Delbarton trying to put the pressure on Dave Lahansky, who sticks it aside there. Here comes Ken Duzibart. Centering pass, and Guth trying to recover on the far boards. Centering, Waite knocks it aside.
Steve, that's a set play. What they try to do is get Guth breaking up the middle and spring him for a breakaway. It almost worked. And here you see it almost the opposite way, as Delbarton tries to spring out one of their players. But the puck never reached the player breaking towards the middle. Now we have a whistle for a hand pass, I believe.
Both teams take the opportunity to change lines here. 9:10 to go, second period. 1-0 Delbarton. Scholastic Sports Sunday on SCA TV from Mennen Arena. Good crowd on here tonight, Pete.
Well, Delbarton, this is their home rink. They must have in the neighborhood of about 500-600 people on their side, and I would say St. Joe's is in the neighborhood of about 300 to 400. Delbarton putting their third line out there, getting a little action tonight. Greg Pendy, Matt Whitling, and Mike Gattilia.
St. Joe's, though, Duzibart in the Delbarton zone, sends it on net, and Waite knocks it aside. Ryan McKenna, the second line center, knocked down.
And I believe the net move, that's why you're going to have that whistle. But notice Jason Waite, cool, calm, collected. Shot came in low to the stick side. He turns his right skate open, slides it across, makes the easy save, deflects the rebound into the corner, so there's no second opportunity.
You're going to see that again with Jason Waite in goal for Delbarton.
There you see him seeing the shot all the way, standing erect, turning the right leg to the outside, sliding on the right skate, and deflecting the puck into the corner.
Face off to the right of Waite. Controlled by the Green Wave, Chris Loudon. Trying to get it out of his own zone, but finally taken off by Von Zubin. Von Zubin across the Delbarton line. Knocked down, and we're going to have a penalty here.
A hooking penalty is going to be called. Excellent move by Max Von Zubin. And the St. Joe's player, that was the only alternative he had, was to pull him down. And Delbarton will get another power play. Penalty would be against the junior Ryan McKenna, number 21 for St. Joe's. And he will sit 2 minutes for hooking. Delbarton comes out with their top line right now. Trey Whipple, Max Von Zubin. They move up John Sullivan to that left wing, and of course on the defense, the two juniors, Jim Bruce and Kevin Mahoney.
Of course, Delbarton took the opportunity on the power play in the first period with Von Zubin scoring at 6:43 of that opening period for a 1-0 lead. Here's Bruce on the power play opportunity for the Green Wave. Whipple trying to get to Sullivan, but it slips away. St. Joe's, Pete Hurry sends it down ice, and they'll regroup. 1:42 to go on the power play. 8:11 to go in the period. Sullivan, it's sent out again, and here comes Von Zubin. Trying to get something going. Takes a shot on, and Lahansky covers up.
Very sneaky shot. That time Max Von Zubin faked like he was going to go either to the point or the man in the slot. Turned, let a quick shot go on net, knowing the shot was not hard enough to go in, but was going to try to pick up the rebound. Here we'll take a look at it. Watch right there, using the defenseman as a screen. That was Bill Sands, the junior for St. Joe's. The puck skimmed right between his legs, and the senior Dave Lahansky held on for the whistle.
Face off in front of Lahansky. Von Zubin. Von Zubin sends it back to Jimmy Bruce. 1:09 on the power play. And Bruce and Von Zubin play a little two-man game. Here comes Von Zubin.
We're going to have a whistle for a Delbarton player in the crease while Delbarton had possession of the puck. Referee Jim Flaherty stops play and moves the faceoff outside the zone.
Isn't that kind of an unusual call, though, Pete? You don't see it that often.
Well, it's a call that is made in the high school and college level. It's not a professional call. That rule does not apply at the NHL level, but in the scholastic and collegiate levels, that play is there to prevent the goaltender from getting hurt.
Certainly takes the continuity out of your power play for the moment anyway. But certainly
that's if you're a Delbarton fan.
Right.
If you're a St. Joe's fan, just saying thank you very much.
44 seconds left to go, and Barnes offsides. A face-off just beyond the blue line. Delbarton in the green trimmed with white. St. Joseph with the white with gold and green trim.
There you take a look at Kevin Mahoney, the junior. He's another one of those players that after tonight will trade in his hockey stick and pick up a lacrosse stick.
Mahoney, one of the members of that '89 Delbarton team, which shared the co-championship with St. Joseph. Because of the measles outbreak up at Delbarton, the game was never played. And here they're finally getting to settle things on the ice tonight. Sullivan. 29 seconds left in the power play, and centering pass knocked away. Here comes Bob Guth. Fires a long one down and wide. St. Joe's with a shorthanded opportunity, and Waite comes up with a save.
Excellent play by Rob Guth. had the puck at a bad angle. He's a left-handed shot, so he had a lot more net to shoot at. Took a quick wrist shot. Jason Waite was able to make the save, but he was unsure where the rebound was, so he just fell on it. There you see the end of the play as Jason Waite shakes the puck out of his leg pad, but he didn't know where it was, but it was a good save, and he held on for the whistle.
11 seconds left on the hooking penalty on Ryan McKenna of St. Joseph. And it looks like the Green Knights will kill off this first penalty here in the second period. 6:39 to go. Delbarton clinging to that 1-0 lead. Intercepted by Umida as the penalty's over. St. Joe will try to regroup and offsides.
Again, the play becoming physical. Delbarton, every time they have a chance to take a St. Joe's player out of the play, they do it. They're following through on their checks. Sometimes it's a physical body check. Other times it's just getting in the way of the St. Joe player, not allowing him to re-enter the play. There you see our score, 1-0 in favor of Delbarton. First period of goal by the sophomore Max Von Zuven has given Delbarton the 1-0 lead. And with just 6:20 remaining here in the second period, we're having a little confusion here with the line changes, as referee Jim Flaherty will not allow Delbarton to make that change. He's sending them off. They must keep their original 5 players on the ice.
Both teams can skate 3 lines if they want to, Pete, and they've been mixing it up a little bit tonight.
Yes, and the third line has been getting some spot duty. While we have a second, just want to mention that New Jersey High School All-Star Hockey Team tryouts. 20 of New Jersey's top high school hockey talents will be selected to compete in a national tournament held in Chicago, April 17th through 22nd. Tryouts will be Sunday, March 24th at the Montclair Arena at 8 o'clock, Tuesday, March 26th at the Montclair Arena at 6 o'clock.
6:11 to go, second period, 1-0 Delbarton. Shot on goal. St. Joe's putting some pressure on Bob Guth, putting a good check.
And if you want more,
Mahoney.
and if you want more information about that, please call 509-9595.
This all-star team hockey tryout certainly will bring out some of the best players in the Garden State.
New Jersey is always well represented in that tournament every year.
Play getting a little more physical here as Delbarton trying to get it out to the center ice area, but St. Joe's putting the pressure on. Here comes McKenna, putting the shot on, and another good save by Jason Waite.
Excellent save by Jason Waite. He stood tall, he stood his ground as the player cut in down the middle. Jason took the shot right in the chest and then held on for the whistle.
Jason Waite had 27 saves in a state quarterfinal victory over Brick, the defending state champion.
You talk about the defense of Delbarton and the goaltending of Jason Waite. This is their 3rd game here in the state tournament. They have allowed just 3 goals. I should say this is their 4th game, and they've allowed 4 goals. In the 3 previous games, 1 goal each.
Tremendous defense by Jim Brady's team.
So if everything keeps to record here, this should be all St. Joe's is going to score.
Trey Whipple trying to get out of his own zone, but kept in by Pat Moran. And a body checking along the far boards. Now a shot from the left point. Blocked. Comes down into the St. Joseph zone. Billy Sands, junior defenseman, number 18. Good body there by Whipple. He's done a lot of that forechecking over the state tournament for the Delbarton Green Wave. 4:14 to go, second period. Offsides. Another line change here coming on. And Pete, so far, not really that many great opportunities, but look at one. Some strong checking here along the far boards.
There you see Trey Whipple, the senior, delivering an excellent body check. Notice he had his hands down, he had his stick down, hit the player cleanly below the shoulders. An excellent play.
1991 state final, St. Joseph and Delbarton. Scholastic Sports Sunday here on SCA TV3. I hope you're enjoying the game. Face off, Jim Bruce sends it into the St. Joe zone. Again, a good body check on the far boards by Chris Burry, senior wing. Umida coming out of his own end, across the Delbarton line, lining up for a shot, but knocked away by the Green Wave. They've done that so many times, checking away the solo skater.
Well, you're not going to beat the Delbarton defense going one-on-one. It's going to take some good passing and some good checking to do it.
We have another penalty here coming up, it looks like, against
Ken
the Green Knights.
Looks like to be Ken Deuceabout, the senior. And I believe it's going to be a roughing penalty. And with just 4:02 remaining here in the second period, Delbarton will get another power play.
The Green Knights penalty is to number 5, Ken Deuceabout. They received 2 minutes for
Deuceabout, the senior defenseman.
58 seconds of the second period. Again,
4:02 remaining, and Delbarton will be on the power play again for the third time tonight. As we said, both teams can play a physical brand of hockey, a good clean checking game, but once in a while they're not going to get away with some of the tough play in there. There's a shot on goal. Great save by Lahansky, the St. Joe's goalie. Golden opportunity for John Sullivan there, Pete.
Great save by Dave Lahansky. There's another shot.
A clear shot from Mahoney. Again, Lahansky comes up. Whipple trying to circle behind. Back in front. Then kicked aside. Whipple sends back the left point to Bruce. Bruce fans a bit on the shot, but gets it over to Von Zubin. Delbarton putting the pressure on. One of their strongest rushes of the night here on the power play.
Dave Lahansky has made 2 tremendous saves on this power play.
Whipple trying to sneak in there, but Lahansky covers up.
Good pressure by Delbarton. Some nice giving goes on the side, and there you're looking at the senior, Dave Lahansky. 2 tremendous saves, some point-blank shots. He's earning his keep this evening.
1:07 left in the penalty to Deuceabout.
Here we're going to take a look at it. That's the first one. And there you see the puck scramble into the corner. And you'll see some real heads-up play by the senior Dave Lahansky.
Off the face. Again, Lahansky falls down on the puck. 3:05 to go, second period. The Green Wave of Delbarton leading St. Joseph's of Montvale 1-0. Steve Tober, Pete Caggiano. We see Dave Lahansky there, the junior goalie for the Green Knights, along with Jason Wade of Delbarton, 2 of the finer netminders in New Jersey's high school ranks this season, no doubt about that.
Well, I don't think Lahansky gets the publicity that Jason Waite gets, but he definitely is in the same league.
Off the face, Bob Guth, one-on-one, trying to go through the defenseman Bruce, but unable to do so. Mahoney trying to get the puck free from Pete Hurry of St. Joe as Whipple comes in to try to help out. 40 seconds to go on the penalty. And here comes the Green Wave. Into the St. Joe zone. Here's Sullivan trying to take it himself. Shot on goal by Bruce, stopped by Lahansky. Centering pass, nobody there to put the stick down.
And now the net moves, but again, Dave Lahansky making an excellent save. All kinds of pressure by Delbarton. That time Lahansky stacked the pads, anticipated the pass, made a beautiful sliding save. And if not for him, Delbarton would be leading this game 5-6-0.
Great goaltending by Dave Lahansky. 24 seconds left on the penalty to Deuceabout. 2:25 to go in the period.
I'd love to see the shots on goal for this period. Must be somewhere in the neighborhood of a ratio of about 3-1 in favor of Delbarton.
Certainly evening out things after the first period when St. Joe's had a 14-5 advantage in shots. Off the face, puck sent back in to the center ice area. Delbarton, only 13 seconds left on the penalty. Offsides. 2:11 to go in the second period. The 1991 state final. Delbarton has never won a state title on ice. They were awarded a co-championship with St. Joseph in '89. And of course, they lost twice in the state finals, '86 to Brick and '87 to Montclair.
Well, they lost to Brick, as you mentioned, by a score of 2-1. They lost to Montclair in '87 by a score of 4-2. They did not play in the '89 game, and they're back again.
Interesting note, Pete, both times when they lost those state finals, they came back the next season and knocked out the defending champs, Brick. They knocked out Brick in '87 in the quarters, and they knocked out Brick this year in the quarters.
Well, the game they knocked out Brick, the 5-1 game, they played an excellent game and easily handled and outscored Brick that game.
St. Joe's has effectively killed off the penalty, but the Green Wave trying to get something going here. 1:45 to go. Battle along the far boards. Mark Umeda. Chris Burry of Delbarton. Here's Mahoney, shot. Another good save by Lahansky, who screened out a little bit there. And here comes the Green Knights of St. Joe's on the run. Guth dropping the puck for McKenna. Centering pass, and Deucebart sends one in, knocked away. Again, Waite was screened off that time.
But he was in the right position. He knew he couldn't see the puck. He was down in a butterfly, had his pad spread, and made the save.
St. Joe's putting pressure on. Just over a minute to go. Second period, 1-0 Delbarton. And the puck outside the blue line here.
I'm not quite sure why the whistle was blown, but the face-off is coming outside the Delbarton end. And I think you saw something there. I'm not sure if the cameras picked it up, but we were able to see it from our broadcast facility here. Every time the puck went into the Delbarton end and Rob Guth was on the ice, somebody was with him. Sometimes it was Chris Burry, other times it was Matt Durney, but every time either he or his team had the puck, somebody was on him.
Less than a minute to go, second period. 1-0 Delbarton. St. Joe's trying to get something going here. Loudon trying to get out of his own zone, unable to do so. Whipple lost his stick. And they're going to have an offside. Oh, a penalty against Whipple, looks like, Pete.
Well, at first he was going to call an offside, but now it looks like somebody's going to go.
Could be Whipple for grabbing, trying to hold up the player as he tried to get his stick.
We're going to have to wait for the call. I'm not sure if he's calling interference or holding, but it will be the senior, Trey Whipple, and this will give a potent St. Joe's power play a chance to put one on the board. The call is interference.
Whipple had lost his stick and trying to give his teammate the opportunity to come in and call for the interference and gives St. Joe's, at least here on the 2-minute penalty in the final 35 seconds here of the period, a chance possibly to do something. We'll see. St. Joe's' second power play opportunity of the night.
Delbarton doing a good job to stand them up in center ice. St. Joe's is going to have to start working the puck to Rob Guth.
Pete Hurry on the far boards from the left point, trying to work it in.
They're running out of time here. Only
Back
3
to Guth. 6 seconds left in the period. Hurry sends it on. A soft shot easily stopped by Waite. 3 seconds to go in the period.
I think that's 5 seconds. I can't quite tell. There's a few lights out in the clock. That's either 3 or 5. You might be right. Maybe it's 3 seconds to go.
We'll get time here for the face-off.
Oh, we have another penalty coming up here against Delbarton. They're going to be 2 men down. And it looks to be Kevin Mahoney will sit another 2 minutes for high sticking. And that was just, I believe that is 3 seconds remaining on the clock.
This is one team you do not want to be 2 men down to for too long.
Absolutely not. This is a golden opportunity for St. Joe's.
Of course, those penalties will carry over into the third period. Not much time left here. St. Joe's will try to get something off the face.
That's their only opportunity to pull it back for one quick shot.
1:30 to go on the Whipple penalty for interference. And now Mahoney going off for high sticking for 2 minutes.
You just saw the junior Peter Hurry asking the referee, is that 5 seconds or 3 seconds? I don't think anybody knows right now.
Those extra 2 seconds could mean a lot here.
Especially with the face-off deep right in front of Jason Wake.
Correction on that penalty time, it was 14:57.
14:57 on the penalty, so that is 3 seconds remaining in the period.
Matt Durney will take the face-off for Delbarton, and Bob Guth, the star left wing for the Green Knights of St. Joseph. The referee telling everybody to give a little room there. And off the face, puck slips away from Bland, and that's the end of the second period.
Just what we expected, a lot of hard hitting, a lot of good skating. There you see the fans celebrating, doing the 1 or 2 man wave. But I think we're in for an excellent third period. St. Joe's will have a 2-man advantage. This could be what we expect to be the exact timing and the exact situation where the power play will determine who the winner is.
So that's the end of the second period here on Scholastic Sports Sunday. The Delbarton Green Wave holding a 1-0 lead over St. Joseph's, and we'll be back.
For me, the award for the best support in the teenager's life outside the home goes to the Job Corps. You're between 16 and 21, don't know what role to play? Join the Job Corps. At Job Corps, it's not about facing an audition. It's about becoming the star in your own show. Get your act together. Get your show on the road. Join the Job Corps. Make a new life and a good living. Trust me.
Call 1-800-TRAIN-YOU.
Hi, Pete Caggiano here back at the Mennen Arena. We're between periods 2 and 3. Delbarton holding a 1-goal lead over St. Joe's. Joining me right now, Mr. Harvey Cohen, the coach of Chatham High School. Harvey, you know what this is all about. Back in 1976, you led a strong team here to the state final, losing in overtime to Brick High School. What are your memories of that game?
I remember after the third period when the score was 2-2, the guys were sitting in the locker room as they were making the ice, and it was a question of wanting to get it over quickly, and it was over quickly, but Brick won in 20 seconds. Everybody wanted to make sure that they forced the issue, and it got forced, and we got caught up ice, and they scored.
How proud are you of this Delbarton team here this evening representing the Morris County High School League?
Well, they carry the banner for Morris County hockey. The fact that they won the Mennen Cup, the fact that they've made it to the finals, they've done the job and they deserve to be here.
What do you see high school hockey here in New Jersey? Right now it's at a level where finally the college scouts, the pro scouts are starting to look at some of the players. No longer do players have to go and leave after the junior year, go play Junior A in Canada. How would you assess the hockey scene right now in the state of New Jersey?
I think that the best players now are as good as the best players always have been. There just aren't quite as many of them. And people are being lured to the prep schools because they're being given the illusions of grandeur, when in fact there are kids who have played here who can do just as well.
Right now the score is Delbarton 1, St. Joe's nothing. We're going into a tough third period. What can we expect here in the third period tonight?
I think that St. Joe's is going to try and force the issue because they have a 2-man advantage for a minute and a half, and if they can score one then, and then push the issue on the other remaining power play, that they can try and turn the game around in the first 5 minutes.
Harvey, as always, it's a pleasure talking to you. We'll be back with the third period after this.
Back at the Mennen Arena in Morris Township, Scholastic Sports Sunday, getting ready for third period action. Steve Tober, Pete Caggiano as the Delbarton Green Wave leads the St. Joseph Green Knights 1-0. And Pete, Delbarton coming back with better quality shots on goal in the second period, and it's still a very tight hockey game.
Both goaltenders are playing exceptional hockey tonight. Dave Lahansky for St. Joe's, Jason Waite for Delbarton playing outstanding hockey, stopping a lot of shots, a lot of tough shots, some in close, point blank, rebounds, just doing an outstanding job. While we have a second, Steve, just want to recap. This state tournament started in 1976, and in the very first game, as we heard from Harvey Cohen, his team lost in overtime to Brick High School by the score of 3-2. In 77, we jumped to another 3-2 score. This time it was Brick over Livingston. In 78, West Essex got onto the scene with a 5-3 victory over Livingston. In 79, Brick returned to state champs with a 2-1 victory over Seton Hall. In 1980, another overtime game, Livingston by 1 over Brick High School. In 1981, it was Montclair this time, 6-5 over Brick. In 82, it jumped to Livingston over Montclair, 4-2. 83, CBA scored 3, Seton Hall none. 84 started the reign of St. Joseph. They scored 7, Brick had 6. In 85, it was St. Joe's again, 4-2 over Brick. In 86, it was Brick 2, Delbarton 1. 87, there we take a look at the crowd. In 87, it was Montclair 4, Delbarton 2. 88, Montclair 2, St. Joe's 1. The measles game of 89. And then in 1990, Brick 2, Montclair 1. And that brings us up to date.
And Pete, we've had some great state finals. I can remember going back to that Montclair Brick game in 81, Don Eccleston's Montclair club going to overtime. Mike Zurillo getting the winning goal and leading the Mounties to the first of 3 state titles in the 80s, the other 2 coming under Bruce Parker. And of course, Delbarton under both John Magadini and Jim Brady doing a super job up here in Morris County.
You're mentioning some coaches that have been legendary status, have gained legendary status here in New Jersey.
I want to say Scholastic Sports Sunday. We have several fine supporters here today. Venturini's Deli on 800 Main Street in Boonton. Come and see the whole family and come and see how sandwiches aren't just made, they're built. Toll-free fax number you can order from your business or company, 1-800-696-1642. That's 1-800-696-1642. Toll-free to order your Venturini sandwich, or call 335-1642. That's 335-1642. They have homemade salads and hot sandwiches. And I can attest from our SCA TV broadcast during the fall in football that those Venturini sandwiches are something else indeed. Getting set here for the start of the third period and waiting for both teams to come back. We also want to thank C&L Sports, 134 Ridgedale Avenue in East Hanover. 887-6110. That's 887-6110. Rich, Bill, Al, come in and take advantage of the March sale. 25% off all helmets, hockey bags, and gloves, and all the finest companies, Cooper, Bauer, Easton, and rollerblades, which have become more popular, also offered at C&L Sports. Expert sharpening for all your skates and NHL souvenirs. And they're the supplier of equipment and uniforms of the Morris County Colonials traveling team. Also want to thank Robin's Sandwich Shop, up Dover, across from the train station. Daily sandwich and soup specials. A statewide reputation for 19 years, Robin's. With new hours Monday through Friday, 8 to 8, and Saturdays and Sundays, Saturday 8 to 6, Sunday 8 to 4. That's Robin's, right across from the train station in Dover for 19 years. And get a 10% discount if you mention this ad on Scholastic Sports Sunday at Robin's Sandwich Shop. Steve Tober, Pete Caggiano, getting set for the third period as both teams come back on ice. And Pete, starting the third period, St. Joe's is going to have that 2-man advantage right off the bat.
This is crunch time for Delbarton. They're going to be down 2 men for at least a minute 27. There's a minute 57 on the second penalty. St. Joe's, I'm sure, is going to put their big guns out there. Expect Bob Guth, Peter Hurry, Pat Moran, probably Ken Dusenbout, and either Bill Sands or Dave Stemkowski on the point. But this is the time when the goals are going to be scored. When you're up 2 men, this is the advantage you look for. You don't want to let this one go by the boards.
And St. Joseph, unlike, say, a Montclair, which really has one super line, St. Joseph's can go definitely 2 lines deep and also throw in a third at times. And do you think the fatigue factor would be any factor here tonight, since both teams are fairly deep?
Well, not only are they fairly deep, they're fairly well conditioned. These are young guys. These are 16 and 17-year-old kids. If they don't have the stamina, nobody does. And they just sat for 15 minutes in the locker room, so I'm sure they'll come out fresh here for the third period.
Of course, cleaning the ice between both the first and second periods, and the second and third. And our referees, John DiCarlo and Jim Flaherty, getting set for the face-off here in the third period. Jim Brady, you see the back of his head there on the Delbarton bench, the 32-year-old graduate of St. Lawrence, a pretty good hockey school up in New York State.
Absolutely. The one question, though, we have not been able to find out, and I asked Jim Brady himself before tonight's game, what is a green wave?
What is a Hoya from Georgetown? They're involved with the Big East tournament. I'm still trying to figure that one out.
But we don't broadcast the Hoya games.
Face-off controlled, obviously, by the Green Knights with a 2-man-up advantage here for 1 minute and 20 with Whipple off for interference, and St. Joe's going to take their time. A golden opportunity for St. Joe's to tie. Delbarton leading 1-0. Guth trying to get on the receiving end. Centering pass intercepted by Sullivan at Delbarton, and he clears out.
Good job by Delbarton. They're setting up a triangle. 1 guy deep, 2 guys up at the point, forcing St. Joe's to stay on the perimeter.
Keith Bland across the Delbarton line, and the Green Knights will set up again. Shot from the point. Nice save by Waite. Rebound. And another save by Jason Waite.
That time Jason Waite came to the right side. Mark Umita picked up the rebound, tried to go high to the short side. Excellent save by Jason Waite. Here we're going to look at the first shot from the point. The save, now it's tapped over. Look right there, you see Jason trap it with his glove against his right shoulder and hold on for the whistle.
Jason Waite did not get the MVP in the Morris County League, but he certainly was one of the top goaltenders, along with Martino from Morristown Baird.
That time Rob Guth set up beautifully by Mark Umita, and he just fanned on the shot.
In St. Joe's, only 19 seconds left on the first penalty for Delbarton, the Whipple penalty for interference. There's a shot from the point, again saved by Waite. Rebound, score!
Oh, what a pass. Mark Umita will get the goal, but it's Peter Hurry, the junior-senior, that made a beautiful pass cross ice. And with 9 seconds remaining on the first penalty, St. Joe's will still have 39 seconds to go on a power play. Some outstanding pass work. The play starts with a shot from the point. Good save by Jason Waite. Peter Hurry picks up the puck on Jason Waite's left side. We're going to see how it starts. Watch as the shot comes from the point. Right here, there's the save. Now watch the pass across, and left all alone, unchecked, is Mark Umita, the senior, and he taps it home. That ties the score at 1, and there's still 39 seconds remaining in the second Delbarton penalty. St. Joe still has a power play.
Well, we had said St. Joseph would have the 2-man advantage starting the third period, and they do take advantage. 1-1 on the Umita power play goal, 1:18 of the third period. And we got ourselves a hockey game here at Mennen Arena, the 1991 NJSAA state final. Good crowd on hand. And St. Joe's still with 22 seconds left on the second Delbarton penalty. Just wide. The shot by Guth. St. Joe's trying to keep it in the Delbarton zone. They'll recircle. And here comes Guth. St. Joe's trying to avoid going offsides. Guth settling here. Centering pass, and a nice feed off the backside to the wing, Pat Moran. And
Steve, that almost worked. That give and go just missed.
The penalties are over, but the damage has been done.
There you see the puck pop up into the crowd of Souvenir. There you take a look at Jim Bruce, the junior. Jim scored the first goal the other night against Montclair in the 3-1 victory, which propelled Delbarton into this final round.
Impressive win over the Mounties, who came out a little flat, and great forward-checking, back-checking by the Green Wave that evening. They took Brian Felber and company out early. Well, the Montvale made a torrid comeback at the end. Delbarton hang on. There was Ken Dusebout, the senior defenseman for St. Joseph. We'll face off to the left of Jason Waite. Max von Zuben in that first line on for Delbarton. Now the referee coming over to the St. Joe's bench.
Well, he doesn't want to allow the change, but I think it's because of an injury. Bob Guth had his glove off and was looking at his hand. There you see some of the trainers talking to him. I'm not sure what the problem is, but if there's something wrong with Guth, St. Joe's is in trouble.
And all set to go here. 12:46 to go. 1-1. Battle along the far boards as the Green Wave tries to work it free. Whipple. Puck knocked away. Von Zuben tried to get it out, couldn't. When St. Joe's regroups at mid-ice, center ice as Kenny Dusebout sends it back in.
Real critical time here for Delbarton. Let's see how they react after being scored upon. Look at this. They don't know where the puck is as the puck rings off behind the net. And goaltender Dave Lahansky was looking the other way as it hit one of the metal pipes that hold the glass together.
12 minutes ago, third period, 1-1. Sullivan, what a great game against Montclair in the semis. Works it across the St. Joe's line, comes in solo, but really nothing going there with two defensemen back.
He did a nice try to squeeze between the two defensemen, but the defenseman did a better job and cut him off.
Guth, swift skating senior wing, circling and sends a very soft backhand, which Wade falls on.
That time you saw the speed of Bob Guth as he circled around the net, but you also saw all the attention he attracts, and as soon as he did pick up the puck, there was at least one or two Delbarton players all over him.
Also want to thank Sportsfolio Magazine, another one of our sponsors here on Scholastic Sports Sunday, the only high school sports magazine that covers the entire state of New Jersey. A shot on goal, just wide, centering pass, almost knocked in, and Waite falls on top of it. Pete Hurry on the rebound. Pete Caggiano almost stuck it past Jason Waite.
Wow, what a setup. That time Pat Moran just touched the puck and left it for Peter Hurry. And it was an outstanding save. You're going to see all this action in front of the net. There's the first shot that goes wide. Little backhand pass. And then he gets leveled after he takes the shot. But the St. Joe's players are starting to look up in the air after the save by Jason Waite, wondering what they're going to have to do to put another one past him.
And Pete, is Delbarton doing enough in terms of keeping the St. Joe's wings away from the net? They're getting a lot of rebound opportunities, especially Umeda.
Steve, that's easier said than done. That's a design play when a player stands in front of the net like that looking for a rebound or a tip in. Give credit to the offensive player.
Here comes Trey Whipple losing control for Delbarton. Sullivan keeps it in. Centering pass, Von Zuben unable to get the stick down as he's checked out of the action. Nelson sends it behind the St. Joe's net with Bob Guth. Tries to get through, unable to as Mahoney, and here's the center pass for Guth. He goes in and he scores.
Oh, the goal is by Guth, but the pass is by Mark Umeda. They worked that 2-on-1 to perfection.
That goal kind of snuck up on you there. It looked like Delbarton was going to be able to stop Guth, but he got through and made him a nice pass.
Well, Guth came down center ice and almost put a move to get by the defenseman. Then Umeda picked up the loose puck. And you're going to see Umeda here as he goes to the left. Watch the pass in front. There's Guth unchecked. He taps it home for Guth. That's his 52nd goal of the season. That gives St. Joe's the 2-1 lead. And with just 10:45, has old momentum changed size now.
Bob Guth, the senior left wing, giving the Green Knights the 2-1 lead. You see him there, number 8. Gene Katz, the 24-year-old head coach coach for the Green Knights, former player. And his team is on top with 10:45 to go in the third period.
Well, you can't ask for a better situation than that. Unselfishly, Mark Umida knew that the other player, Bob Guth, had a better shot, slid the puck right across. All Guth had to do was just redirect it, and he beats Jason Waite. This is the first time in all of the state playoffs that Delbarton has given up more than one goal.
4:15 of the third, that goal coming. And Delbarton has to play comeback hockey here, and they have not been used to that. They've been a hot team lately, but they're going to have to rebound if they're going to not drop their third final on ice. Of course, they shared the title in '89 with St. Joe, and they lost the finals to Brick in '86 and Montclair in '87. Now, an opportunity for the Green Wave. We have a whistle here.
We got a penalty coming up
against St. Joe's, it looks like.
Jimmy Flaherty's going to be pulling off a St. Joe's player. And it looks to be number 17, the sophomore, Keith Bland. And with 10:15 remaining here in the third period, a chance for Delbarton to get back into this game. It's a roughing penalty against the sophomore Keith Bland.
Of course, Delbarton scored their only goal of the game on a power play, 6:43 into the first period. Von Zubin from Whipple and Mahoney, and they had that 1-0 lead until St. Joe's came back here twice already here in the third period. Another whistle. Puck rolls free.
There you take a look at John Sullivan, the sophomore. Moves up from center on the second line to left wing on the first line for the power play.
Dave Lahansky, the St. Joe goalie, could be tested here. We'll see. Bruce works it in. Point blank shot, rebound by Sullivan. He's knocked down. Strong shot there by Von Zubin, but Sullivan unable to get his stick down. He was checked out of the play. We'll see.
What a play by Ken Deuceabout. That time the play was right in front. We're going to take a look at it. You're going to see the shot come from the side, the save. Now watch there as the rebound comes out. You saw Deuceabout go down, smother the shot. That was John Sullivan trying to tap home the rebound. But Ken Deuceabout, the senior, held on as he went down to block the shot and preserving the one goal lead with our score 2-1 in favor of St. Joe's.
A minute 48 left in the Bland hooking penalty. 10:07 left in the third period. 2-1 St. Joseph. Here's Bruce from the left point. Good save by Lahansky, who's knocked down by Von Zubin. St. Joe's crowd looking for something called there, but
well, they're not real happy. Whenever somebody bumps into your goaltender, you're not real happy about it. And I think it was just the case of the St. Joe's defenseman letting the Delbarton players, they did not appreciate that and politely saying, don't do it again.
And Whipple on the face-off here for Delbarton. Wins it. Bruce for Mahoney. Tries to center it. Shot on goal. In front, and Lahansky tries to pull it behind the St. Joe's net. Shot it just wide through the crease. The Sullivan shot. The Green Wave putting pressure on. A minute 17 left in the penalty. But the puck sails by, and Wade has to come out. Delbarton trying to get something going here on the power play. They've had a couple of opportunities. Knocked away.
By who else? Mark Umida. Outstanding game for that young fellow.
Bruce, and a glove save by Lahansky, and he covers up.
Nice save by Dave Lahansky. He came out to break down the angle.
53 seconds left, Pete, on the penalty. 9:12 left in the period. We got ourselves a hockey game here.
Good pressure by Delbarton. Nice defense by St. Joe's. That time Lahansky taking no chances as the puck was up in the corner of his arm, and he just held on for the whistle.
Delbarton did score on the power play in that opening period with Von Zubin at 6:43. We'll see if they can do it again.
Looks to be a timeout here for Delbarton.
Of course, Bob Guth, the fine left wing, number 8 for St. Joe's. 52 goals on the year, Pete. 33 assists. And of course, Mark Umida, another senior, has had a terrific game here tonight, the left wing.
It's always the unsung hero that comes through in situations like that. As I mentioned earlier, Mark, a very unselfish player, very heads-up player. He scored the first goal for St. Joe's. Beautiful pass assisting on the second goal. He's one of those players that you don't mention, and sometimes does not always get mentioned in the scorecard at the end of the game, but his impact is definitely seen.
Should mention, St. Joe's has beaten Delbarton twice this season, 3-0 early in the year at Sportorama in Muncie, New York, St. Joe's home rink. And then later on in the New Jersey Invitational at Lawrenceville, 6-5, a very close game. But sometimes, as Gene Katz and St. Joe's coach told me the other day, it's tough to beat a team 3 times. It's a cliche to beat them 3 times in a season, but so far tonight, he has the lead at this point, and with 9:12 left, they appear to be in decent shape.
There you take a look at Jason Waite, the senior.
53 seconds left on the power play for Delbarton. Steve Tober, Pete Caggiano from Mennen Arena in Morris Township. SCA TV3 Scholastic Sports Sunday. The 1991 state final, Delbarton, St. Joseph's of Montvale. St. Joe's the top seed coming into the tournament. Delbarton the 6th seed, and Delbarton pulling off the big upsets over number 3 Brick and 2nd seeded Montclair. Face off. Sullivan looking to center for Mahoney, comes in close, shot on goal.
No! They're waving it off. There's a man in the crease. They're going to wave off the goal. It will not count. Referee John DiCarlo's going over to the scorer now to tell him why. There you take a look at the goaltender. He's happy about it. Delbarton does an excellent job of putting the puck back to the point. Watch the shot. But they're going to wave it off as Trey Whipple, the senior, was in the crease.
Second time we've had that happen here tonight, Pete, and you explained it in the first period. It's a rule in the college and high school ranks, and some of our NHL fans might not be used to it, but a big call right there.
Well, it was the right call. Whipple was standing in the crease when the shot entered the net, so there's no goal.
St. Joe's clings to its 2-1 lead. 8:53 to go, third period. Jim Bruce sends it up ice. Now on the left wing comes Sullivan. 23 seconds left on the power play for Delbarton. Here's Sullivan coming in close. Point blank shot again. St. Joe's able to block and come up. Guth. And Mahoney takes it back for the Green Wave across the Delbarton line. Penalty running out, and the St. Joe's Green Knights able to kill it off. As Deucebar comes back on ice. 8:12 remaining in the third period, and we're even up here. Each team of the 5 skaters and the goaltender as we get to 8 minutes left in the third period.
St. Joe's just wanting the whistle, ices the puck here.
They'll take the icing right there and bring it back down to their end, set up the face-off situation. 7:54 to go.
Boy, what a tough break for Delbarton. Trey Whipple, the senior, was in the crease. In fact, the puck deflected off his skate before it went in, but that's not the reason why the goal did not count. It didn't count because the man was in the crease, and in fact, John DiCarlo had blown the whistle before the puck even entered the net.
The Green Wave crowding in front of that net at that point when the call was made. A legitimate call, no doubt about that. And St. Joe's holds on to that 2-1 lead. Delbarton on the far boards. Tied up is Durney.
That could have been called a charge there.
Good body by Billy Sands, but no charging call made. Knocked down is Pendy. Delbarton going with their third line right now, trying to give the guys a little bit of a breather in these final 7 minutes on the first 2 lines.
Well, we're going to have a penalty here. Somebody's going for charging.
Play getting physical here in the third period.
And it looks to be Delbarton.
Huh.
No, you take one from each side.
Okay. Both men will go off. It's 7:32 to go in the third period.
Looks to be Matt Durney for Delbarton, and I didn't catch the number on St. Joe's. I think it was number 18. That's Bill Sammons.
7:27 of the third. Teams will go with the four skaters here. We'll take a look at it here.
Watch the pile up. There you see one that could have been called and wasn't. And now you can see the two guys wrestling on the side. And then there's one. And there you see back. And the referee figures he'll take one from each side and make it even.
Bob Guth trying to bring it out. Bruce giving him good body at center ice, and Guth circles. Omito is driven off the play there, and here comes the green wave. Sullivan across the red line, across the St. Joe line, circling in close, little backhander, and Omito, Lahansky coming up with a save, and again, Pete, Dave Lahansky doing the job in goal for St. Joseph.
Two excellent plays. The sophomore, John Sullivan, cutting from his right to his left, let a quick shot go. Dave Lahansky extended the left arm, making a beautiful save. There you see the backhand. There you see Lahansky going down, sticking out the left arm, and holding on for the whistle. We are under 7 minutes. The score is 2-1 in favor of St. Joe's. We have ourselves a barn burner.
A minute 24 left on the penalties. St. Joe trying to hang on here and trying to win their fourth NJSIA state title. They shared it in '89 with Delbarton when the final was not played because of that measles outbreak. Tonight they're settling it on the ice in the '91 final here on Sammons SCA TV3. Shot on goal, put aside by Waite, and the green wave. Try to get something going here. Here's Whipple across the St. Joe line, drops it. Delbarton would have had an offsides there. Whipple had put his stick on the puck, and St. Joe's takes over. 6:13 to go in the game. And Pete Caggiano, we're getting near crunch time here for Delbarton. And we see John Sullivan there, the sophomore center. It's been a tight hockey game, a well-played game, and we'll have to see what happens here in the final moments.
Well, St. Joe's has to be careful not to go into a defensive shell too early. 6 minutes is a lot of time. They only have a 1-goal lead. You know Delbarton's going to be pressing. When we get down into the 5-minute mark or less, watch as they send at least one and possibly two defensemen up with the forwards.
Man, Sullivan driven off with good body there by the mate of St. Joe's, and here comes the Green Knights. Guth is ridden off the play. 22 seconds left on the penalty. Von Zubin picked aside by Lahansky. 5:42 to go, third period. 2-1 St. Joseph.
Delbarton has to watch themselves right now, because when they do start to press, they're going to leave themselves open.
Penalties are over, and both teams are at full strength.
We have a hurt player down over here right on the blue line. Can't see who it is.
Looks like Matt Durney, the junior left wing, getting up slowly, the second line wing for the Green Wave. Going over to the bench and just shaking up. It might have the wind knocked out of him.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he took a stick somewhere or possibly just a body check and got the wind knocked out of him, but he seems to be in a little bit of pain.
Face-off will be just beyond the Delbarton line.
The junior Matt Durney is another one of those players that after tonight will trade in his hockey stick for a lacrosse stick. Quite a few players do that. The sport is similar, with the exception one is on ice and one is on the ground.
They certainly coincide from the passing standpoint.
Positional play, passing, teamwork, and the object of the game is to put something into a net past a goaltender.
5:13 to go, third period, 2-1 St. Joseph. The state final here from Mennen Arena I hope you've enjoyed it here on Scholastic Sports Sunday. Steve Tober, Pete Caggiano bringing you the action here, and what a fitting end to the 1990-91 hockey season. Sullivan circles, trying to get something on a backhander, but he's ridden off the play by Sands. And
what a super play by Bill Sands, the junior.
Nelson could not hold on to the puck there, and St. Joe's takes over. Pete Hurry, the junior center on the first line, sending it down ice. 4:25 to go in the third period. Sullivan, who's done a lot of skating here tonight, drops it for Mahoney. Shot on goal. Kicked aside.
Some of the Montclair players, some of the Delbarton players are going down and real slow to get up. I think the physical toll is starting to take effect on the Delbarton players.
Just under 4 minutes to go, third period. St. Joe's clinging to a 2-1 lead over Delbarton here in the state final. Offsides by the Green Knights as Guth came in ready to fire one on Jason Waite. Bob Guth, the MVP in the New Jersey Interscholastic Hockey League A Division, the senior forward who's rumored to be scouted heavily by the New York Rangers, the New Jersey Devils, and the Detroit Red Wings. Of course, one former St. Joe player, Max Middendorf, did play in the NHL. Vancouver, among the teams he's been associated with on that 83-84 St. Joe's team, which Gene Katz, the coach of St. Joe's, also played for. Max Middendorf, the only NHL player to ever come out of the NJIHL.
But you will see another one in about 2 years, and that's Jim Dowd, who's playing for Lake Superior right now from Bricktown High School, an excellent candidate for the Hobie Baker Award. He, as a junior this year, is the second or third leading scorer in the country.
3:30 to go as Whipple throws some body there and gets the centering pass knocked in front. Lahansky able to fall on it. Von Zubin unable to convert there. Good play there by Whipple and Von Zubin, but unable to convert. And here comes the semi-breakaway by Hurry, ridden off the play. Cuts back, backhander, fans on the rebound, and Pete Hurry there almost. Pete Caggiano had a golden opportunity for St. Joe.
Outstanding play. I believe that was Mark Yamita, the little right wing there. And as we mentioned all night, he can do it all. You saw the unselfishness. He knew he couldn't beat the fellow one-on-one. Turned around and tried to go around the net. Try to stuff and play. He'll do anything he can to win.
Von Zubin sends it in behind the St. Joe net. 2:44 to go, third period. St. Joe leading 2-1. Loudon sends it again behind the net. The second line out for Delbarton right now, Durney, Sullivan, and Burry.
Oh, we're going to get one right here. St. Joe's, Peter Hurry, the junior. He's going to go for cross-checking. John DiCarlo is sending him off.
And again, Pete, the other night in the semifinals, Montclair drew a penalty with about 3 minutes to go. And this time it's St. Joe's going off with 2:22 to go in the game.
Delbarton could not ask for anything more. You're going to see the play come up right here. Watch, boom, right there. As you see Peter Hurry with two hands on the stick and the stick off the ice, making contact with the back of the Delbarton player. And because of that, he'll sit for 2 minutes.
So Delbarton will have the man advantage for all but 22 seconds left in this hockey game. Pete Caggiano, we see Pete Hurry in the penalty box, the junior center for St. Joe's.
Well, Delbarton's hoping it does not go until 22 seconds to go in the game because they'd like to score and get that fella out of there.
St. Joe's, of course, the Bergen County Power, would hope it goes the full 2 minutes in that penalty, but the Green Wave has done very well on power plays in the state tournament.
Now, there's one more thing you have to look out for. Probably when we get into the last minute of play, they're going to pull Jason Waite. And when that happens, it will allow St. Joe's the opportunity for an open net. Plus, St. Joe's will be down a man, so if they do try to score, it won't be called for icing. Now what you see is a change of the goaltenders. That's Dan Whalen, the junior, is going in net for Delbarton. And this is strictly a strategy play. Jim Brady, the coach, has already used this timeout. if he changes goaltenders, the first time a goaltender enters the game, he is allowed a 1-minute warm-up. So I'm sure Dan Whalen will go in goal until the first whistle, in which Jason Waite will return back into the game. But what this gives him is a second timeout, very good strategy used by all the better coaches in the league.
I've seen Bruce Parker, the former Montclair coach, use this many times. He led Montclair to state titles in '87, in '88, and he would do this. As you say, it gives your team that extra breather. Go over the strategy here. We're going to see a replay of that one-on-one a moment ago. That was a hurry being ridden off the play by Loudon as Waite came up with a save. That was an opportunity. Hurry almost had almost a semi-breakaway there, but Loudon got back and rode him off the play. 2:22 to left, third period. Steve Tober, Pete Caggiano, your NJSAA state final. Delbarton, St. Joseph's of Montvale. St. Joseph's at 23-3-1. Delbarton at 19-6-2. This is the third meeting of the season between these two teams. St. Joseph has taken the previous two meetings 3-0 and 6-5. Of course, this has all the marbles riding on it. Face off to the right of Lanhowski. Von Zubin takes it. We have the first line out for the Green Wave. Jimmy Bruce and Kevin Mahoney on defense. 2:11 to go in the game. Whipple drops it for Bruce. It's from the point. Rebound. Knocked aside. And St. Joe's clears it down ice.
Again, great save by Dave Lahansky. And not only did he make the first save, he made the second save on the rebound. And then he was fortunate enough to have his defenseman clear the puck.
And Pete, Jim Brady has his first line pretty well rested here for the final couple of minutes. We'll see if it pays off or not. Whipple, Von Zubin, and Kroll. Actually, Sullivan replacing Kroll on that first line. At this point, Sullivan has been on ice an awful lot tonight, the sophomore for Delbarton. Centering pass for Von Zubin, and Lahansky covers up again, Pete.
Good play by Dave Lahansky. He anticipated his shot. He was there ahead of time, made the easy save, and then held on. Now you see Delbarton changing their goaltenders. That's Jason Waite returning to the game. Although I anticipate Jason staying in only for about 30 seconds, in which they will pull him for an extra attacker to try to tie this game up. We have 1:24 remaining in the third period, 1:02 remaining in the penalty to St. Joe's.
We're getting down to those waning seconds, and another break here. When we have a moment, let's thank our sponsors on Scholastic Sports Sunday, Sportsfolio Magazine. Subscribe to Sportsfolio, the magazine of high school sports. Call 239-4870. That's 239-4870 for Sportsfolio. Your complete all-state, all-section previews. You see the 2-1 score, 1:24 to go in the game. Sportsfolio, which brings you hockey top 10s with Rick Blywise, our hockey writer, and along with all the other sports. Sportsfolio Magazine, 239-4870, the magazine of high school sports. And of course, when you sit back with your Sportsfolio, maybe watching the tube, have a sandwich from Venturini's Deli in Boonton. Come see the whole family at 800 Main Street in Boonton. Toll-free fax number, 1-800-696-1642. That's 1-800-696-1642 for Venturini's Deli. From your office, or just call on the phone at 335-1642. That's 335-1642. Homemade salads and sandwiches. Some of the best, thickest sandwiches you'll ever find in North Jersey. They don't just make sandwiches, they build them at Venturini's, 800 Main Street in Boonton, one of our consistent sponsors here on Scholastic Sports Sunday during the football and hockey seasons.
Well, then you take a look at the Delbarton crowd, and they're standing as usual. Most of the time they're standing on their chairs. And we're down to the last 1:24 here in the third period. Now, we do go into overtime. They play an 8-minute sudden death overtime, and if we are still tied after that, they will go into a shootout.
Well, we'll see if we have to go to that tiebreaker. If you're a St. Joseph's fan, obviously you hope they can ride out this penalty, and then the final 22 seconds after that. It's 1:23 to go in the game in the third period. 2-1, St. Joseph leading the Green Wave. Sullivan, as the puck passes by him, and St. Joe shoots it back down into the Delbarton zone. The Green Wave Jim Bruce trying to get something going. 42 seconds left on a penalty. 1:02 left in the game. Puck slips free and through the crease, and unable to get his stick down was Whipple. Golden opportunity for Delbarton. Whipple fans when St. Joe's unable to get it out. Mahoney fires. Oh, and it's a goal!
Yes, that was in! That was in!
Delbarton scores with 42 seconds left in the third period to tie it 2-2.
Earlier, Dave Lahansky made a great save, and Trey Whipple couldn't poke the rebound in. But that time the shot came from the point. We're going to take a look at it. There's all the action in front. It's almost cleared. Excellent play to be kept in at the point. And right there you see the junior, Kevin Mahoney, just sliding the puck past the outstretched leg of Dave Lahansky. And with just 42 seconds remaining, we're tied at 2. And does overtime look good now?
14-18 the time of the goal. Only 42 seconds remaining. 2-2. And what a hockey game here tonight. NJSAA Championship, Delbarton St. Joe's. And Pete, they might not have been able to play in '89 because of measles, but they've certainly made up for it in terms of intensity here tonight in 1991.
You cannot ask for anything more, Steve. We saw some good goals tonight, some real fine hitting, some excellent skating, and a lot of excitement.
Off the face, Delbarton keeping it in the St. Joe's zone. 31 seconds left in regulation. Wait comes out. And it looks like we might have overtime here, unless somebody does something awfully quickly. 15 seconds left in the third period. Hurry unable to get anybody on that drop pass from the right point, and it's blocked.
We're going to overtime.
And that's it. That's the end of the third period. And we've got ourselves a tied hockey game, 2-2.
The teams will take a 5-minute break in between the third period and overtime here.
What a hockey game here tonight. Steve Tober, Pete Caggiano. And Pete, this is going to go down certainly as one of the top state finals of all time in terms of intensity and closeness. You couldn't get any closer than this. There have been a few overtimes over the years. Of course, Brick and Montclair in '81. More recently, Montclair won 6-5. And tonight, this game, 10 years later, we've got ourselves another overtime game.
Well, you can't ask for anything more. The scoring was started earlier in the first period by Max von Zubin.
We're going to see the goal right here, Pete, the tying goal, which has sent this game in overtime.
Ah, you see it right there, just past the right leg of Dave Lahansky, and that ties the score at 2. But it was Max von Zubin in the first period to give Delbarton the 1-goal lead. And then here in the third period, St. Joe's coming back on goals by Mark Umita and Bob Guth. And then just with 42 seconds remaining, it was the junior Kevin Mahoney, as we saw right there, to tie this game at 2.
Well, we're going to come back in just a moment after a timeout, 2-2, and we'll be back for overtime in just a moment.
I never saw anybody light up a bar like Jack.
You can say that again.
He had a million jokes.
2 million.
Oh, what a riot.
Oh, yeah.
One of a kind.
No kidding.
I swear, if I thought he couldn't drive, I'd have said something. You know? I mean, how could you spoil his fun?
Right.
Take the keys. Call a cab. Take a stand. Friends don't let friends drive drunk.
If you're an employer, you know how tough it is when your National Guard and Reserve employees are gone. But it's even tougher for them.
We're back at Mennen Arena, getting set for overtime here. The Green Wave of Delbarton and the Green Knights of St. Joseph tied at 2-2. And Pete Caggiano, tell us about how the overtime works in high school hockey here in New Jersey.
The situation is governed by the NJSIAA, and the rules they have set down is the teams will play an 8-minute overtime, a sudden death overtime. As soon as a goal is scored, the game is over. If after 8 minutes the score is still tied, they will go into a shootout. That is where each coach will name 5 players, and then they will go through one player from each side, one at a time, until we get a differential, and then a winner will be declared. If after 5 players you're still tied, they will address another 5 players from each side. If after those 5 they're still tied, they will go back to the original 5 again. So it can go on for a while, but I don't think that'll be the case tonight.
You don't? You think somebody will stick one in here?
Usually what happens in overtime, because the teams are now nervous. They may not have been nervous before, but now they are. Don't be surprised if the first or second shot on goal is the one that does it.
Okay, we'll recap the scoring here. Delbarton got on the board early, 6:43 the first period. Max von Zuben on a power play goal, giving the Green Wave a 1-0 lead. Assists by Trey Whipple and Kevin Mahoney. Mahoney took the shot from the right point, and von Zuben able to tip it in. And Delbarton held that 1-0 lead through the rest of the first period and through the second period. However, early in the third period, Mark Umida, the fine senior wing for St. Joseph, scored at 1:18 on a power play goal to tie it. And then 3 minutes later, 4:15 in, Bob Guth, the fine all-state left wing for St. Joseph, with his 52nd goal of the season. An even up situation. It was 2-1 St. Joseph. And then that's how it stood until only 18 seconds left in the game, when Delbarton tied Manners on a goal by Kevin Mahoney. And with 18 seconds left, Mahoney's goal gives us what we have now. Overtime here at Mennen Arena. Steve Tober, Pete Caggiano enjoying a heck of a hockey game. A fitting end for that 1990-91 season. Delbarton looking for their 20th win of the season and their first on-ice state championship. They shared the title in '89 with St. Joseph because of the measles outbreak at Delbarton. As we've said many times tonight, people that remember that 2 years ago, the game was not played, and they've certainly made up in terms of great hockey here tonight for not playing in '89, which certainly wasn't their fault. St. Joe has won 2 titles previously on ice in '83 and '84. And also again, 84 and 85, excuse me, they won the state titles on ice. They lost in '88 to Montclair. Of course, I was at that game, I should remember, covering the Mounties for the Montclair Times. But all that matters now is overtime here at Mennen Arena in a 2-2 hockey game.
And of course, Steve, the old cliche goes, it's a shame someone has to lose this game, but someone will lose this game tonight, and they will have nothing to be embarrassed about. Both teams, an excellent effort tonight, both teams giving it their all, and we've seen some excellent hockey tonight.
Getting set for the face-off here in 8 minutes of overtime. 2-2. Steve Tober, Pete Caggiano, and we're set to go. Off the draw, Jim Bruce for Delbarton. And Sullivan. Offsides here against the Green Wave. 7:51 to go in the overtime, and
there's a look at Jim Flaherty, one of the officials tonight doing our game.
Along with John DiCarlo, both men veterans of state hockey finals. Face off on the far side with Chris Burry taking it for Delbarton, but controlled by the Green Knights of St. Joe's. Sending it into the Delbarton end. Bruce will try to bring it out. Up ice for Sullivan, but it slips past him. Lahansky comes out. Both Dave Lahansky and Jason Waite, the 2 goaltenders, played terrific hockey here tonight.
Oh, they sure have, Steve. Excellent hockey here tonight. We have an offsides. That's why the whistle is blown and the faceoff will be brought outside the zone. But you mentioned the goaltenders. You cannot say enough about the two gentlemen tonight. Jason Waite for Delbarton, and of course for St. Joe's, Dave Lahansky.
Lahansky only a junior. In fact, St. Joseph only has 4 seniors on their roster, 3 of whom actually see much action. Deuce about Guth and Umeda. Off the draw, it's the Green Knights. Guth up the left wing. Delbarton zone, shot on net, covering up his Waite.
Now, did you notice Jason Waite there? Not very sure of himself, a little bit tentative. When you get into overtime, the nerves start to come to the surface. I don't care how much you practice for this game. I don't care how much you think about it and you know to yourself that you can play a good game and that you're strong and you're confident. When it gets down to the end, and especially in overtime, you get jittery.
Face off to the right of Jason Waite. Off the draw. Mahoney has it taken away momentarily. St. Joe's trying to keep it in, but the Green Wave manages to get it back to center ice. It's Nelson, one of the tri-captains for Delbarton. Again, the Green Knights coming in. Circling behind the net is Hurry. That was Umeda. Umeda unable to get anything off as Guth tries to knock it back to Umeda. Umeda in front. Blocked. St. Joe's putting the pressure on here. 6:30 to go in the overtime. Jason Waite covering up.
Good save by Jason Waite that time. The puck came from the point. Ken Deuceabout took the shot, and the junior center, Peter Hurry, tried the deflection, but Jason Waite was there for the save.
Obviously, St. Joe's wants Umeda and Guth on the ice as much as possible here in the overtime. 2 obvious standouts for St. Joe's. Guth, the senior left wing, and Umeda, who can play on the right or left side.
I would expect both teams to rotate just 2 lines here for the overtime.
Off the draw, Bruce for Delbarton. Trying to get out of his zone in center ice. It's controlled by the Green Knights. Scott Soffel bringing it in into Guth. Guth unable to get anything off, and it's Jim Bruce again, who's been carrying it out of his own end many times this evening. Here's Sullivan. Ridden off the play in St. Joe's. That time, Delbarton able to send a strong shot across the front of the net. 5:50 to go in the overtime. We're tied at 2. The 1991 state final NJSIA hockey extravaganza coming to a close here tonight. Steve Tober, Pete Caggiano, happy to bring it all to you on Scholastic Sports Sunday. Want to thank the crew from Sammons, Director Paul Rose, who's done a terrific job. Roy Albee on camera, company.
Lot of center ice play, Steve. Each team a little unsure. They want to make sure they do not give the puck up in their defensive zone. Just getting over the red line and trying to dump it.
Bobby Guth across the Delbarton line, drops it, but it's taken away. Coming in is Kroll, unable to get a shot off. He's ridden off the play. Keith Bland, the sophomore defenseman, doing a nice job coming back.
Super job. Now you see the game open up a little bit. This could give coaches nightmares.
4:40 to go in the overtime. We're tied at 2. Scholastic Sports Sunday, and what a classic we have here today for you. Delbarton, St. Joe's, 2 hot, streaky teams right now, and they're playing a classic. Delbarton looking for win number 20. They're 19-6-2. St. Joe's, the top seed at 23-3-1. McKenna and Soffel trying to combine. Now centering pass. Sullivan across the St. Joe's line. Ridden off the play, though. Again, good defensive work. Deuceabout riding Sullivan off.
Super play by Deuceabout. That time Sullivan had a step on him. He was going around the right side. Ken Deuceabout, the senior, just stuck the stick out and knocked it away.
3:50 to go in the overtime. Again, the action at center ice. Mahoney fires one from the blue line. Sails over the net. Lahansky ready and waiting for that one. The St. Joe's goalie. Centering pass. Bruce keeps it in. Soft shot on goal. Rebound. Sullivan is stopped by Lahansky. The puck is still rolling in front and back of the net now. Whipple unable to get a hold of it. And what a flurry there, Pete Caggiano, and almost a Delbarton goal.
That's the most action we've had in a while, and that was outstanding. I don't know how Dave Lahansky kept the puck out of the net.
3:05 to go in the overtime. We're tied at 2. Dave Lahansky, here's a shot on Waite.
As you see, they're not going to have any penalties called here in the overtime. There could have been a couple of them already.
Hurry with a shot. Blocked by Waite. Von Zubin trying to get out of his own, and St. Joe's able to keep the puck in until Jim Bruce takes over for the Green Wave. 2:43 to go in the overtime. Von Zubin across the St. Joe line. Circles in, but it's intercepted by Pete Hurry. Sends it back to center ice. Pete Nelson behind the St. Joe's net. Keith Bland, the fine sophomore defenseman, trying to get it out of his own zone. 2:20 to go in the overtime. We're tied at 2.
Uh-oh.
Waite comes out and almost loses it. Loses his glove.
He's in trouble now.
St. Joe's able to keep it in. Nelson circling back. Centering pass.
Jason still has not gotten
Sullivan knocks it away for Delbarton and knocks it down the ice.
Smart play by Delbarton right there.
Certainly take that icing call, Pete.
Absolutely. Your goaltender has no glove. If he loses either a stick or either glove, play goes on. If he loses his helmet, the referees will stop play immediately.
1:45 to go in the overtime. We're tied at 2. St. Joseph's and the Green Wave of Delbarton. Veteran defenseman Jim Bruce, a junior, but he's a veteran defensive player. We'll see again Lahansky. We just saw the end of it. Lahansky covering up.
And then watch as the puck rolls in front again. Right there, you see Lahansky giving a shot.
Knocking away Tucker Kroll, the sophomore wing of Delbarton. Dave Lahansky not putting up with anything in front of his own cage.
Well, you have to pay the price when you stand side by side with the goaltender.
1:45 to go. The face-off will be to the right of Jason Waite of Delbarton. The green-clad Green Wave looking to get it out of their own zone here as St. Joe's will put the pressure on with that line of Guth. Ryan McKenna is now on. They're mixing up the players just to get the right combinations down the stretch. And Pete Hurry, the first line center, number 11.
1:45 remaining here in the overtime.
Von Zubin will take the all-important face-off for Delbarton.
John DiCarlo does not allow Coach Gene Katz to make another change. He's going to have to go with the players he has out there.
The shot blocked. Duspart recovers in center ice as his team regroups, sends it into the Delbarton zone as Hurry battling Mahoney along the far boards, and Bruce sends it up ice, and we have another icing call here against Delbarton. 1:26 to go in the overtime. We're tied at 2.
That time Delbarton did not want the icing penalty. The faceoff will come all the way back just to the right side of Jason Waite.
Bruce tried to feed Sullivan with that lead pass and just went beyond him and ended up with an icing call against the Green Wave. Bring it all the way back down to the right of Jason Waite. 1:26 to go. 2-2.
The scoreboard tells it all. You see that 4th dot lit on the bottom. That's the OT dot. Overtime.
Face-off controlled by the Green Wave. And the puck sent on. Deflection. Guth on the rebound. Scores.
There it is. Rob Guth, the senior for St. Joe's, on a turnaround shot. And with just 1:16 remaining here in the overtime, St. Joe's of Montvale is the state champions of ice hockey.
And again, a rebound goal for the Green Knights of St. Joseph. Bob Guth scoring his 53rd goal of the season, the MVP of the NJHL. As you see the red light on there, exhibiting, exemplifying the overtime victory for St. Joseph. And Pete Caggiano, a tremendous effort by both teams, though, here in the overtime.
Absolutely, a tremendous effort. That last goal, I don't think Jason Wade had a good look at it. Bob Guth, the star of tonight's game with 2 goals, does a turnaround shot from about the center of the circle. I'm not sure if deflected off somebody or not, but did enter the cage, and it'll give a 1-goal victory to St. Joe's. There you see the first shot go wide. Now watch the turnaround right there between the legs, and it banks in off the right leg of Jason Waite.
Great shot by Bill, our cameraman, behind the net. And St. Joseph of Montvale.
And for Rob Guth, that's his 53rd goal of the season, and none any bigger.
Well, they shared the title in 1989 with a measles epidemic up at Delbarton. The final was not played, but here tonight, St. Joseph and Delbarton play a classic battle, and St. Joseph comes away with a 3-2 overtime victory over Delbarton. We're going to come back in a moment to recap, but what a final. 3-2 St. Joe in overtime.
Takes many forms, from verbal assaults to hurtful blows, but it is preventable, and we all have a role to play. If you know of a parent having difficulty, reach out, sit down and talk. And if you're having difficulty, get help for yourself. Talk to a friend. Sign up for a parenting class. Take time out. Don't take it out on your child.
Contact the National Committee for Prevention of Child Abuse.
We're back at Mennen Arena. 3-2 victory for St. Joseph of Montvale over Delbarton. Coach Jim Brady of the Green Wave, a tremendous season for Delbarton, finishing at 19-6-2. Jim Brady, the 32-year-old fifth-year head mentor, led his team to the finals when nobody really expected that they could make it there. They upset the defending state champion Brick 5-1 in the quarterfinals, then beat Montclair 3-1 in the semifinals. And tonight, they take St. Joseph to overtime as we see getting set for the presentation of the state championship trophies. Steve Tober, Pete Caggiano here enjoying a classic battle. And what a fitting end to the 1991 hockey season. And when we have a moment here, I want to thank our sponsors on Scholastic Sports Sunday, C&L Sports, 134 Ridgedale Avenue in East Hanover. Rich, Bill, and Al, come on by for their March sale, 25% off on all helmets, hockey bags, and gloves. The finest equipment from Cooper, Bauer, Easton, and Droust. Rollerblades, of course, the latest fad, and certainly beyond being a fad, a tremendous spring exercise in the parking lots. They're available at C&L Sports. Expert sharpening on all your skates, NHL souvenirs, and a supplier of equipment for uniforms to the Morris County Colonials at C&L Sports, 887-6110. As we see St. Joseph parading around with the state championship trophy, Pete Caggiano.
Wow, what an outstanding effort. And this is the first time I think a rookie coach has won the state championship. Gene Katz, boy, that young fella could be proud of himself and his team. Everyone did an outstanding job tonight.
Just recapping the scoring for a moment. Max von Zubin, 6:43 of the first period on a power play for Delbarton for the 1-0 lead. There was a scoreless second period. Both teams getting into a very intense forward-checking battle, and Delbarton improving on their shots advantage. They were down 14-5 in shots in the first period, but they certainly evened that out in the second period. It was 1-0 going into the third, Delbarton leading, But 1:18 in, Mark Umeda behind senior wing for St. Joe's on a power play tied it. And then Bob Guth with his first goal of the night at 4:15 of the third. It was 2-1 St. Joe, and Kevin Mahoney with just 18 seconds left tying it for Delbarton. We went 2-2 to overtime, and then it was Bob Guth with 1:16 left in the OT. Made it 3-2, and St. Joe's is the 1991 state championship. Pete Caggiano, what a game here tonight.
You couldn't ask for anything more. I was beginning to think when we got down into the last 2 minutes of overtime, I've never seen a shootout in a state final so far in all the years that's been played since 1976. And I was looking forward to one tonight, but Bob Guth, the senior left wing, did not allow us to get that far as he turned around, let a shot go from about 25 feet out. The puck banked in off the right leg of Jason Waite, went across the line, and St. Joe's is the 1991 state champ.
St. Joe's won the 84 and 85 titles back-to-back, defeating Brick both years 7-6 and 4-2, and they lost in the 88 final to Montclair 2-1. And they were co-champs with Delbarton, of course, in 89. Here tonight, they come up with a big overtime victory. We see them again parading with a trophy. Ryan McKenna, the junior center.
And you look at that St. Joe's team, you look at who's playing for them.
We're going to see the winning goal here again by Guth with great camera work by our Sammons crew off the face.
And you see that's the puck behind the net. Right there, Mahoney tries to clear it out of the zone. He's unable to. Now watch, right there, Guth spinning, turning, and the shot surprises Jason Waite, banks in off his leg, goes across the line, and you're never going to find a happier Rob Guth than at that moment right there.
And we saw Mark Omeda with 1 goal, Bob Guth with 2, and Peter, not too many better wings in New Jersey than Mark Omeda and Bob Guth of St. Joseph.
And also give you made a credit on Guth's first goal. It was a beautiful pass by Mark to set him up for the tap-in. All-around effort. I was mentioning earlier about St. Joe's. You look at their squad. Guth is a senior, but then you have to go pretty far down the list. Umeda is a senior, and Lahansky. Everyone else is freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. Even Jim Brady at Delbarton should be pretty proud of his club. They played well tonight. Trey Whipple skated his last game, as well as Jason Waite and senior Chris Burry, but he has a fine squad coming up again next year.
And Delbarton, despite losing their third final, they were co-champions in 89. A tremendous effort. There were 6 seeds coming into the tournament. They beat Brick, they beat Montclair, they take St. Joe's to overtime. You're talking about the best teams in the conference, in the state, and a tremendous victory. And we'll be back for a final wrap-up in just one moment.
Doing your taxes, eh? Quite a stack of deductions you've got there. Did you know for 1990 you can only deduct 10% of your consumer interest? Like interest on consumer loans and credit cards. Next year, the deduction will disappear completely, but some forms of interest will remain deductible, like interest on home equity loans.
A message from the New Jersey Society of CPAs.
I knew who I was. I knew who I wasn't, thanks to my father. He was a builder. And when I needed someone to talk to, he wanted it to be him. His values, not someone else's. Years later, he gave me an old nail to remind me of the fruits of work and how it wasn't just houses he was building. The closer you are to your children, the further they'll be from drugs. From the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Back at Mennen Arena in Morris Township, Steve Tober along with Pete Caggiano. State final is completed, 3-2 St. Joseph over Delbarton in overtime. And Pete, again, a classic battle. Great goaltending by both teams.
It came down to the goal scorer against the goal stopper, and that time the goal scorer won. Bob Guth, the senior, his 53rd goal of the season. I almost forgot he scored so many this year. His 53rd coming in overtime with just a little over a minute remaining. Beat Jason Waite between the legs for that goal. His biggest goal, I'm sure, of his career, propels St. Joe's to the state championship.
Of course, forwards like Trey Whipple, John Sullivan of Delbarton, along with Jimmy Bruce, Kevin Mahoney on defense, put forth a strong effort as well. Delbarton certainly has nothing to be ashamed of here tonight. They played a great hockey game, too.
Jim Brady and his entire coaching staff and all his players should be very proud of the effort they put forth tonight. They were the Mennen Cup champions and just one goal shy of being the state champions.
So St. Joseph's defeats Delbarton for the third time this season, but most importantly here in the state final, 3-2 in overtime. For Pete Caggiano, I'm Steve Tober. Good night, everybody.